fact, Chazal say, just 1 second, Chazal say that the way, the catalyst, what caused the whole thing, that Bilam's plan to entice the Jewish men, had there been a prohibition on Jewish men, Jewish people drinking wine with non-Jewish people, right? Had there been such a prohibition there, the whole thing would never have happened.
What they were drinking at the time?
So they drank together.
Yeah. Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Is it the complications of when they have an offspring? You know, they go. That you got to
no, the actual.
No, forget the drinking. If they get together and then they actually commit the act, then they could be. They have problem with the offspring.
Not just problem. The actual union itself is a very serious prohibition. It's Lisa, Kores, depending what the situation is. That's not allowed to marry a goiter. Okay? Shom, please start.
I might have a little problems today because I had drops in my eyes.
So you can't see properly?
Well, I can read this and I might be able to read by now the Rashi. I might struggle with this. But Be'er Hashem El Moshe Lemor. Pinchas ben Elazar ben Aharon HaKohen Hashiv et Hamati Me'av B'nei Yisrael. Okay, and to Be'kano et Kinati Be'totam Below Shaliti et B'nei Yisrael Be'kinati. So Hashem said to Moshe, say, Pinchas ben Elazar ben Aharon HaKohen kept me from getting held back my anger from upon Bnei Yisrael. Bekano, his jealousy.
When he was zealous.
When he was zealous from my zealousness.
Yes.
Okay, within. Okay. Amongst them, and didn't.
I didn't.
I didn't destroy or cause a famine or.
I did not destroy the Bnei Yisrael.
I did not destroy Bnei Yisrael in my zealousness.
Right. So it sounds as if that had Pinchas not done what he did, yes.
Right.
The consequences for the whole of the Jewish people would have been
catastrophic.
Catastrophic, exactly.
As it was 24,000.
As it was 24,000 people. Nevertheless, if we had been, that means that the fact they allowed this to happen. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's. Yes.
Did it tell you what was Moshe hesitant about? Did he forget the law or something? Moshe could have stopped.
Yes.
He forgot the law. Oh.
They didn't know what to do in the situation. That's what it says. It says at the end of last week's parasha, they was weeping. They were boiching.
Oh.
They came along. Zimri came along brazenly, and he says, "Is this woman permitted to me or not?"
Ah.
And Moshe said, "No, she's forbidden. You're not allowed to marry a non-Jewess."
Yeah.
So they said, Zimri said to him, "And what about you, Mr. Moshe?
Oh dear.
Who allowed you to marry Tzipporah?"
Yeah.
Okay.
But that was different. Did she have what do you call it?
Conversion.
Conversion. She was converted. So why did he say, yeah, but we
don't know.
I convert.
I don't know. Was he his own base then? Did he take it to the mikvah? What did he do?
I don't know. Anyway, Rashi says at the end of last week's parasha, "Hema boichin," there was weeping. Misalma mimena alocha. Okay.
Oh.
That's what he says over there. Okay. Now, let's see the Rashi here.
So I'll try to read a little bit. Pinchas ben Elazar ben Aharon HaKohen. Lefi shehayu hashvatim vazim oto har itam ben puti ze shafatam
Shapiten
avi imo Agulim, La'avodah, Kokavim, Laharag, Nasi, Shevet, Yisrael, Lefichak, Ba, Hakatu, Ve'yachaso,
So,
Ahar.
Aharon.
So it says, since
The tribes.
yeah, he was
No, Fisha Hoyu Hashvatim Evazimose. Since the tribes were
embarrassed.
they were belittling him, they were scorning him.
Scorning Moshe. Okay.
No, Pinchas.
Scorning Pinchas. You eat the one that.
Have you seen?
So, have you seen Ben Puzi?
Puti,
Ben
Puti, yeah. This son of a Puti.
Puti.
What does that mean?
Right.
Shepitem avi imoy agolim navedes kecholim. That his maternal grandfather, right, the father of his mother, fattened up calves
And he fattened up calves to be killed.
for idol worship. Okay? The Harag, Nasi, Shegem Yisrael, and I'm adding the word similarly. He killed
the Nafshi, the head
Yeah,
of
the leader of one of the tribes of
Israel.
Israel.
And so therefore it comes the one that writes
Well, the scripture comes. The scripture comes and Yichasoi Achar.
That is relation.
Yeah, relates him to Aaron, meaning he traces his lineage to Aaron.
Okay.
So the idea is as follows, and that's an interesting point over here. One is the fact that his grandfather had fattened up calves to Avodah Zorah, and the fact that he had killed the leader of the Jewish people, the tribe of Shimon, what's one got to do with the other?
Well, I guess who is he to dispense justice?
But do somewhat. That's more than that.
I always do both.
Right. Well, I mean,
what we say, it's interesting, is that we actually say that Pinchas, his mother, she was called, it says Elazar was his father, and Elazar married the Benois Putiel, the daughters of Putiel. And the Gemara says, interesting, who was Putiel? So the Gemara says, either it refers to Yosef, right? Shepit peit beyitzroi, who made light of his Yetzirah, he had full control over his Yetzirah.
Right.
Or alternatively she was from the descendant of Yisroi, right? Who fattened up calves for Avodah Zarah. So that interesting point is as follows. It's probably for us, it's very hard to understand, but there was a concept of being a Yetzer Hara, an urge, a lust to serve idols. Right? Which was, should we say, meaning we understand that a person's lust can control his appetite, his material, his animal instincts. That should be able to control his intellect is very hard for us to understand, because we don't have such a concept. But that was the case as far as Avodah Zarah is concerned.
Right.
That the Jewish people had a urge, a lust, right, to follow, to go to serve Avodah Zarah. Now, you can have somebody, I mean, just give an example. You have different levels of people who believe in, or non-believers, or should we say don't really believe in Hashem. They believe in idols or other things. They are, should we say, occasional passive believers, meaning they go to church on Sunday, or they may just occasionally, when the guy comes around with a census and he says, well, what religion are you affiliated to? And he'll write himself down to Buddhism, whatever, but he doesn't have actual ego. Right? Then there's people who are actually regular worshippers. People who really believe Now, somebody who fattens up calves by the Zorah,
Right.
he's completely sold.
Right.
Right, he sold himself to he's completely given over. Right.
Right. He's part of the system.
He's not just part of it. He's like, right. He's fighting for it. He goes collecting for it. This is the thing. Man, I believe in this. There's nothing else. Okay. Now, Yosef was so that. In other words, meaning his Yetzer Hara has completely taken him over.
Right.
Somebody who's completely given to Avodah Zarah means his Yetzer Hara, even he's taken over his intellect. Right? He's completely taken him over. Yosef was exactly the complete opposite. He had complete control of his Yetzer Hara. Ad Kedei Kach, even though he was under tremendous temptation to acquiesce and agree to have relations with the wife of Potiphar, nevertheless, under tremendous pressure, he did not give in. And he managed to control himself, and when the time came when he was, shall we say, even about to buckle under and give in to the wife of Potiphar, he just ran away. He said, it required tremendous, right, self-control.
Right.
Okay? Now, the point is as follows. Somebody has, shall we say, his grandfather, somebody completely given over to his Yetzer Hara, so therefore this is a person given over to passion. He does not know how to control his passion. So similarly, when the situation came along of killing this prince of Shimon, the leader of the tribe of Shimon, the tribes of Klal Yisrael said, you know what the driving force which caused him to do this action of killing this thing? He's a bloodthirsty guy. He's a passionate person. He got himself into a passion, and he says, I can't let this happen. And off he went with the spear. Wham!
That's right.
That's what they said.
Right.
This guy doesn't.
He has a history there.
Right, he's got a history. So the Chazal said, no, that wasn't what.
Who said that?
No, so Chazal, the Torah, says he's a grandson of Aaron HaKohen. Aaron HaKohen is a peace-loving person. So for sure, when Pinchas did this act, it was out of a love for peace. He wanted to restore the peace between HaKodesh Baruch Hu and the Jewish people, and therefore, when he did this action, it was not out of a passion, out of an uncontrolled passion. It was done cool, calm, and collectively. It was a intelligent decision to do this action. It was done out of love for the Jewish people, not out of a person like a bloodthirsty passion.
Right.
It was done out of an intelligent decision. In fact, actually, if you look in the Gemara there in Sanhedrin, it says, it's interesting that you normally, as a kid, always pictured this thing that Zimri came along to Moshe and he says, tell me, this woman is mutter or not? So Moshe didn't know what to answer.
Sure.
Right? I mean, he said that. She's also, he says, well, who let you? And so therefore, and he went along and took her and went into the tent, okay? And Pinchas was witnessing this. I'm not letting this happen. Takes a spear, whang! Right? The Gemara in Sanhedrin says a completely different story. The Gemara says that Pinchas knew what was happening. Zimri had gone off into his tent in the tribe of Shimon, and he was with this woman for the whole day.
And then he did it.
1 second.
To be complied that he did it.
In fact, he was like multiple times.
Multiple times.
Right?
And then he did it blatantly afterwards in
Well,
public.
no, he didn't do it in public.
I thought
Chazal said it was a miracle.
I thought he put his tent door up so that everybody could see it.
No, it didn't. It was a miracle that when Pinchas came along,
the tent door flapped open.
the tent door flapped open and everybody could see it.
I thought he did it deliberately.
No, it doesn't say that. The Gemara said, anyway, Pinchas came along and he waited dafka to the end of the day that Zimri was going to be really exhausted from all his goings on, right? And he came along there, and he came to the tribe of Shimon, and he said, you know, I understood or the leader of your tribe, Zimri, he's having a good time with this lady. Yeah? I also want to go. So he looked at him and says, you Pinchas, you're from the tribe of lady. He said, yeah, sure. And it says he hid his spear, he had like a big stick, like a choshev stick, and he hid his spear inside it. And he managed to get into it. He said, oh, you want to do? So he managed to go behind security there, whatever security they had, right? And he managed to get there. And he said, then at that point, when he came there, and a few miracles happened, and the door flapped open, and then he came in and he saw Mabash B'Shas Maisa. They were actually in the middle of having their goings on. Again, right? And he speared them, got exactly into the point where they were having their relations, right? He picked them up with the spear, and it says miraculously the opening of the tent became higher than the beginning, and he went out and took them out, and he says, this is what I did. You see, guys, this is what they were up to.
Strong guy.
He was very strong. So a number of miracles happened to him at that point, and also the fact that the rest of the tribe of Shimon, they didn't do anything to him. That was in itself amazing. You know, at that point, you know, they should have had all the security guards, you know, like what other thing? They fall on top of him, right?
Okay, so then why did almost 3/4 of the tribe die in the
24,000?
The Magnifier?
Yeah, because they had already the Magnifier already started. It's only stopped.
You mean God didn't wait?
No.
What do you mean? That they already committed other acts?
It's only when Pinchas did his act of...
it was in the middle of the Magnifier already. No wonder they didn't try to stop him. They wanted to save their own lives. I wonder how God picked the ones that were going to die, because there was a list of families there that
Yes, and later on it says in this week's Parsha, it says...
Oh, they got them up because they were committing the acts as well. I don't get what you're saying. Well,
they were also involved. I don't know.
You know when this goes on, you're calling Yitro done so much for... Alright,
no, first that was original. 1 second. Yisro made an about turn. When I said when he originally fattened out calves on the Zohar,
yeah, just saying.
And
can you bring that into it? That what your father did or your grandfather, and use that as a ploy. I know he did a lot of good for Israel, and they probably had to forget. Well, it forgets. I remember when you used to do this, that, and the other. I mean,
yeah. So that was a very incorrect, very forbidden form of speech for starters.
But were they having just a shouting match, or were they having a sit down?
I assume. Listen, the media isn't something new.
No.
Could well be, you know, like maybe it wasn't in the form of a newspaper or radio or whatever like that, but people started gossiping. And you say, you see what's happening here?
It got around, but God knew it first because he already started the thing before, because that was a big camp there, you know. I mean, it might not have gotten everywhere, but God knew ahead of time.
Okay, let's continue.
The Rashi.
Next Rashi, Shlomo. Kanoes Kinasi.
Okay, vengeance.
Vengeance says the Lord.
His vengeance, he prevented.
So Rashi says,
prevented my vengeance.
When he avenged my vengeance.
Oh, he avenged my vengeance. Okay. No, that's
what I'm saying. That's what it means. The Kanoes Kinasi means he was jealous. He was zealous with my zealousness.
He was zealous with my zealousness.
So that Rashi explains that means what kind of zealous means when he avenged.
Okay, then it says the Katzpo had Ketzev, he held me back, and
no, but Ketzpo, when he
my anger.
Yeah, it means he had the fury
that I
would have had.
That I would have had, but he was already angry.
Right.
So
I should have been angry. I should have been furious with the Kino. Now Rashi says every expression of Kino, jealousy, right, or zealousness. Who Hamit Chareh somebody who is involving himself to avenge the vengeance of something. Now, emotionally, if a person is jealous of somebody else, he gets himself worked up, gets himself in a frenzy.
And in a frenzy.
Right?
Now see, that's interesting. The last story said there was a minute every day, there was a split second that God got angry. This time God got really angry. And it was more than a second.
Could well be, right? Yeah.
I don't know. I wanted to try to tie these stories together.
It's a good point actually making. Okay.
Whatever.
Yaakov.
Yeah.
Pasuk Yud Beis.
Lachen emor, where I say, therefore I say, Hineni noten lo, behold, I've given to him Briti Shalom, my covenant of peace. My covenant of peace, Briti Shalom. Shetahei lo livri Shalom. It should be for him a covenant of peace. Ke'adam, Machazit Tova.
Yes, so Rashi's bothered by the following thing. You should see it.
Just a person who is
Bris Shalom. What means Bris Shalom? The grammatically is a very strange form of here. My covenant Shalom, of peace. That means my covenant, which is a covenant of peace. That's basically what Rashi is saying. Okay?
Ke'adam Machazit Tova Lechanot.
Not Chanut. Lechanut.
Since a person who is thankful and gracious.
Yes, something who gives a favor and shows favoritism in a way. Anisha Oisa Imotova. Somebody who does a favor to him.
Favor to Hashem.
Anyway, so therefore, since Pinchas did a favor to HaKodesh Baruch Hu, HaKodesh Baruch Hu reciprocated with a similar favor.
Levi she'oseh imo tova. To him who deals kindly with him,
does some goodness for him.
Parash lo HaKodesh Baruch Hu. So here the Lord blessed be He, shown to him of Shalmotav.
Parash lo HaKodesh Baruch Hu. HaKodesh Baruch Hu spread upon him His blessing of peace. Okay, once that's the next possibility. So now, are you up to reading?
A little bit.
Okay. Pasuk Yud Gimel.
He's hungry.
Yud Gimel, V'haisam lo l'zara achar, which will be from him and his offspring after him. Bris k'chunas oila. Covenant of the priesthood forever.
Right. Everlasting priesthood. Tachas.
Tachas asher kina l'kal.
Exchange for the fact he was zealous for his God by a Chaper B'nai Yisrael, and he created an atonement for the B'nai Yisrael. With his act he atoned for the B'nai Yisrael.
Oh, just in time.
You up to the reading the Rashi? Tsama. Open up.
Just in time.
The Kala is going to say the former range.
Where are you going?
It's Brisi Shalom, right?
No, that was the previous passage.
Bris k'chunas.
V'hoi Soloi.
Oisa should be for him, Brisi, a covenant.
This is this covenant of mine. This covenant of everlasting priesthood. Sha'afar pi. Even though the priesthood had been given to the descendants of Aaron, it was only given to Aaron and his sons, who had been anointed with him. And those descendants who would be born after the initial anointing. Pinchas was born before that, and he wasn't anointed then.
No.
Right, the question is why? He didn't enter into the priesthood, didn't become included in the priesthood till now.
Yeah, because they limited Aaron and his sons
So the question is why the single grandson, the one grandson who Aaron had at the time he was inaugurated, why wasn't he included? That Pinchas did not become a priest Ad Sheharga Zimri, until he killed Zimri.
Yeah.
That the act of killing Zimri earned him his right to be able to join the other priest to become a priest. His descendants also will become priests. In fact, Maisa, he was the next Kohen Gadol after Elazar. Pinchas became Kohen Gadol after that. So the question is, which Rashi doesn't address, is why Taka wasn't Pinchas? Why was he left out originally?
So what's the reason?
I don't know. I'm mentioning to suggest two reasons. One is, as Rashi said before, that the Maisa, even though his paternal lineage was from Aaron, since his paternal lineage was from Israel, so therefore it remained to be seen in which direction is his character going.
Okay.
And therefore, when he showed this, he showed that he had full control over himself. He was following the traits of his paternal grandfather, Aaron, who was Oyev Shalom Beredev Shalom, which we see that we mentioned before, that this is one of the fundamental traits of being a priest, of being a Kohen.
Right.
Is to have this.
It wasn't reckless.
Right. That is to want to create peace between the Jewish people and one another, and also more importantly between Jewish people and HaKodesh Baruch Hu.
Right.
And the whole service in the Mikdash, the Mishkan, was in order to create that state of peace between HaKodesh Baruch Hu and the Jewish people. So it had to be people who had that special character of wanting to create such peace. Peace-loving people. Okay? So therefore, it had to be proven that Pinchas had that character trait. That was his driving force.
Right.
That's number one. Another explanation I want to say is the Maisa, Pinchas was about the only third generation born in Egypt. Amram was born in Egypt, and then Moshe, and Aaron, that's it, Amram, Aaron, and Elazar, 3 generations. He was the 4th generation to be born in Egypt. Now, we say later on in Pashas Devarim, not Pashas Kesetze, Chumash Devarim, says that certain people, one of them are Egyptians, are not allowed to join the Jewish people. Even if an Egyptian converts to Judaism, he's not allowed to marry a Jewess, only from the 3rd generation on.
Because Pinchas' mother was.
No, so 1 second. So therefore, again, he had been so strongly influenced by the Egyptian culture. Could have been. We didn't know. It could have been that Pinchas was so strongly influenced by Egyptian culture that since he was a 4th generation Egyptian, right, then the influence of the Egyptian culture was so strong on him that maybe that in itself disqualified him to be a priest. But then when he showed that he wasn't affected by that over here, because he showed it there. So therefore that let him become a priest. So both things are similar lines. The question is why.
Yeah, you got to look. It's nice to look into the depths and the thing and exactly what's going on there.
Okay. Lelokov, he says he was jealous. He was zealous Lelokov, not to his God, but for his God. That's what Rashi says. Lelokov, b'shvil Lelokov. I'm a kaneh atori. Are you jealous for me? Right? Moshe Rabbeinu said to Yeshua, so there's sometimes the lama doesn't mean to, but rather means on behalf of, for.
Right.
Okay. Shlomo, Pasuk Yudal. Do we have time for one more?
Shem ish Yisrael mukha asher mukha et Pidyanit Zimri ben Sula.
Salu.
Nasi Be'av Nashmoni. And there.
No, a shape in the name.
Yeah. and the name of the Israeli man that got speared through, that he was smitten with the Midianite lady was Zimri ben Salu, who was the head of the house of the
ancestral house of the Shimonites. This means the family clan of the Shimonites.
Right. Okay,
Now, this is Rashi. Shem Yisrael.
Good.
Sheyichas is a tzaddik.
So in the place of the relationship,
Describes the lineage
of the tzaddik,
the shvach for praise. Yichas is a Rosha.
However, on the other hand, I get the relation to the Rashi.
Yichas Rashi. It delineates the Rosha for
Lignite.
For shame. Okay, let's just finish quickly off it. Nisirei Sov Lashimayim. Now, what it means, he was the head of one of the ancestral houses, the clans of the Shimonites.
Right. Okay, Achad, Meshat,
up to about
one of five
of the clans, family clans,
of the fathers that were in the Shevet, the tribe of Shimon. And another thought is the that it was announced
to inform us of the praise of Pinchas.
Shiva, the praise of Pinchas. That although
even though he
was the head, he didn't appoint.
He didn't withhold himself.
He didn't withhold himself
to be jealous, to be zealous for the profanation of Hashem's name, which will happen to Isaac. Therefore, the Torah tells us who was the smitten one.
Yeah, who was the smitten one.
Okay.
Okay, it's 20.
Yeah, let's stop here.
Have you stayed there?